Welcome back to this warm and sunny day down here in Boise as we are listening to Blue Collar Sports. We're every Tuesday and Thursday from 2 to 4 p.m., which is right now. It is 3:26 down here as we enter our fifth segment of the day. It's been a great show so far. If you've been listening, we've talked a lot of hoops, all hoops, talked some NBA, and of course March Madness last segment, and that's what we're going to dive into more now as we move forward. Our exact predictions. We talked about our bracket. If you joined our bracket through our ESPN Tournament Challenge, right now currently sitting at the number one spot is Trevor. Everyone else is following. You're sitting there by yourself right now, and your predictions still line up with what you originally had. I had to do a couple shakeups, obviously. Actually, I only had one Elite Eight team out, and that was Murray State. But it's looking like it's going to be a great race to tournament, and we're going to get to our predictions.
Yeah, it feels good to be at the top, and I only had one mistake on the Sweet 16, but I could still get the Elite Eight correct, and that's what's going to happen this Thursday and Friday. We have the Sweet 16 games. They're going to be fantastic, and we're going to break down every single game and give our prediction for the rest of the games. So it's going to be fantastic. The first will start up with Florida State and Gonzaga. This will be a great matchup. I have Gonzaga winning this one because I have Gonzaga in the Final Four. But I could still see Florida State possibly getting the win here because they are so lengthy, so athletic. They're going to be a tough matchup for Gonzaga, who's also pretty athletic, but Florida State might just be right there with them. And I could definitely see Florida State's been one of the most well-balanced teams, I think, in the tournament so far. And I could definitely see them giving Gonzaga a great run in this one.
Yeah, this could be an upset prediction one. I don't see it quite happening. I do still have Gonzaga. Actually, I originally had Murray State being Gonzaga in this game.
Okay.
So this is why I'm excited them being Florida State. But Florida State, these two teams are built very similarly.
Yes.
And they're big, they're lanky. They look like NBA teams. Of course, Gonzaga with Brandon Clark and Rui, however, I can't remember how to say his last name. But two guys that are NBA prospects built around their bigs. I do still like Gonzaga, though, because of I like their perimeter play more. I know Florida State, led by Mann, he's been playing really, really well. But when I watch Gonzaga, they still got Perkins there and Novell. Those are guys that have been here before, and I trust those guys more. So I do think Gonzaga, I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be low scoring, but I do like Gonzaga to win that one.
Yeah, this is the West bracket where we still see the top four teams in this one, and they're going to play the winner of the Texas Tech-Michigan game, which will be fantastic as well. Both Texas Tech has been very, very well. I've liked what I've seen from them. But I do have Michigan in my Elite Eight, so I have to root for them in this game. But I do believe this is another tough matchup that could go either way.
So I originally had Florida beating Michigan, which was close in the first half. Then Michigan ran away. But I definitely like Texas Tech. I have Texas Tech in my final, in my bracket. This Texas Tech team, I think they're by far the best defensive team in this tournament. These guys play hard, and they are athletic. And they got their stars. They got Culver. They remind me a lot of Duke in that they struggle to shoot the ball at times, but they're so athletic and so lanky and so strong defensively. They're going to be tough to beat. I think Michigan's the weakest 2-seed out of all the 2 seeds. I don't think they should have been a 2-seed to begin with, but I think Texas Tech got a good draw. I actually, like I said, I have Texas Tech in my final, so I do like Texas Tech to kind of control this one. I was almost more nervous about the Buffalo game with Texas Tech playing Buffalo. I thought Buffalo was a good 6th seed, and that one made me nervous, but they smacked Buffalo. So I think they're going to come out. I think they're going to beat Michigan pretty comfortably, setting up a matchup with Gonzaga. I think that'd be a great matchup.
Absolutely. We talked about our brackets, and mine is in first, but some of these games, if they go a different way, I believe I will be balanced from the top spot.
I know Cade has Texas Tech winning.
If Texas Tech wins this one, I know you'll be moving up and some other people, and then we'll talk about the Purdue-Tennessee game, which I think will be the best game of this week. If that game goes a different direction than my prediction, then I don't know if I will be exactly in the number one spot anymore. But my prediction will be correct, so we'll get to that. But we'll go over to the East. We've got LSU and Michigan State playing each other. Another pretty good game, I'd say. I do have Michigan State winning this one. We were talking about Tom Izzo the last segment. I believe they still have a decent team. They've had some up and downs, but I believe they could get by LSU.
Yeah, LSU, I've watched both their games. They've been the exact same games. Against Yale, they were up big early. Yale almost comes back, beats them. Maryland, they were up the whole game. That was a great game. They hit a shot with Tremont Waters, hits a shot. About 1 second left to win that game. So LSU has escaped in both games, but I don't think they could jump out to a lead like they have against Michigan State. I talked about Duke and that they had that scare with UCF. Sometimes it's good to have that wake-up call when you're one of the top teams. I think Michigan State had theirs early against Bradley. They were trailing a lot of that game. They were able to pull away at the end, but then they smacked Minnesota, and I think they're going to beat LSU pretty comfortably.
We kind of talked about the Virginia Tech and Duke game, and I think we both agreed that Duke, this is their game to really pop and win big in this one from the very close UCF game, and then they will move on. I have them playing Michigan State, so I think Duke definitely is going to win big. This could be a big confidence booster heading into the Elite Eight for them.
Yeah, I like Duke to win big here. I do watch out for that Michigan State game, though. I do think Michigan State could beat Duke. I would not be surprised. Watching Izzo versus Coach K, that'd be awesome, especially in a Elite Eight with a trip to the Final Four on the line. But Michigan State, they're a good team. Cassius Winston could play. But this game against Virginia Tech, I don't think it's going to be close. I think Duke's going to come out with a lot of firepower because a lot of people now. I saw, I can't remember whose board it was, but someone through ESPN did a power rankings board, and they had Duke down at 6 now.
Really?
After the loss or after the escape against UCF. So I think Duke wants to have that power again, and they want to show people they're legit. I think they're going to come out and they're going to beat Virginia Tech comfortably. But I would not be surprised to see them lose to Michigan State.
In the Midwest, we have one of the best games, I believe, of this week. That is Auburn and North Carolina. I can't wait for this one. Number 5 seed versus number 1. I do have North Carolina winning this game as I have them in the championship against Duke. But I can definitely see a big upset here. Auburn's a fantastic team. They've played well this tournament so far. They're going to give North Carolina a shake. This game is going to be very close.
North Carolina or Auburn might be the hottest team in college basketball right now. Just won the SEC tournament, and they have come out a lot. Barely escaped New Mexico State, one of the best games of the tournament. They escaped there early in round 1, but then they came out and destroyed Kansas. And now they come into North Carolina. North Carolina played well against Washington, struggled against Iona in round 1. I think North Carolina is beatable. I do like North Carolina. I have them in my Final Four playing Tennessee. So I do think they escape here, but I think this is a high upset alert game. Yeah. I would not be surprised if Charles Barkley called it right. He picks Auburn every year, even when I'm not even in it. But this is the year I think if Auburn has a shot, this is it. Bruce Pearl, he's been around the game for a long time. I love their coach. He's been he's an entertaining guy. So I know Barkley's going to be rooting for him. I think they could get it done, but I still am picking UNC to win this one.
We both have UNC, and they will play the winner of either Houston and Kentucky. This is another game where I have Kentucky winning, but if it goes a different direction with a very good Houston team, I could still get bounced from the top spot in our rankings. This will be a close game. I like Kentucky winning, but they aren't the typical Kentucky team I've seen in the past. They're not a high-ranked second seed, I believe. It's still a shaky Kentucky team, and if we don't see the best out of them, I definitely believe Houston can win this game, but it's going to be very close. I do have Kentucky winning to go on to play North Carolina.
Yeah, I think a lot of it depends on P.J. Washington's health. We saw he did not play in the first 2 rounds. Going into that Wofford game, I was nervous for them. That was also a huge headline when we talk about Wofford. Fletcher McGee breaking the all-time NCAA three-point record. That was cool to see. But that Wofford team, they were fun to watch. Those guys, those boys could shoot it down there. But I thought that could be an upset game. I thought they were going to beat Kentucky because P.J. Washington was out, so I didn't trust them. Kentucky's able to escape. They get a win. I do have them. I had Houston in my Elite Eight. I like this Houston team a lot. So I'm going to stick with it. I don't think P.J. Washington, they said he is going to play, but I don't know if he's 100%. He hasn't played in quite some time. So I think that could be a factor. In Houston, they played really well as a team. I got them moving on to play UNC.
The last division is Purdue and Tennessee and Oregon and Virginia. This Purdue and Tennessee game I cannot wait for. I think it's going to shake up to be one of the best games of the tournament, I hope, because both teams have been very impressive. Tennessee just had a scare. Purdue's looked fantastic. I do have Tennessee winning this game, but I could definitely see Purdue bringing that defense into this game and giving Tennessee a scare. It's going to be a great game. Can't wait for this one. I believe it's Thursday night, but I do have Tennessee winning this one in a very close matchup.
Yeah, I think this might be one of the best games of the tournament. This one makes me nervous. I picked Tennessee to win it. I'm the only one in our bracket challenge that picked Tennessee. It kind of surprised me. I believe we got 20-something people in our bracket challenge. But I was the only one that picked Tennessee, and they scared me last game. They looked good early, struggled late, but they got guys that make big-time plays now. Grant Williams, I think, is one of the best players in the country. Admiral Schofield hits the big shots. So this team is very well-rounded. I'm a huge fan of Rick Barnes, like I said earlier in the show. I was a big Texas guy growing up, so I love Rick Barnes, and now he's at Tennessee and doing great things. But Purdue, I was very frustrated when the bracket first came out that they were in the same side of the bracket and in the same region, because Purdue was a team like Texas Tech that I wanted to take far, and it just so happens they meet in the Sweet 16. So Purdue is a team that I think could definitely run away with this one. I think it all depends on Carson Edwards. We saw him go off for 42 points last round. If he's not scoring, they don't have a lot of options. But if he's scoring, they are tough to beat. I like Tennessee to escape, but expect it to be close.
Yeah, I can't wait for that one. And then the last game, we got Oregon, number 12 seed against number 1 Virginia. I did predict this one. Oregon's kind of had a favorable matchup going into this route, but they play a good Virginia team. I do have Virginia winning this one, but I'm going to say Virginia lost first round last year, so we never really know with this team. Oregon can give them some trouble. We saw them in the Final Four a couple years ago. That was a very good Oregon team. So Oregon they have experience. They've kind of been here before, but they're playing up against a good Virginia team who I do have winning on to play Tennessee in the Elite Eight.
Yeah, I like Virginia to escape this one. Oregon, I like them. They're playing well. They just won the Pac-12 tournament. That's how they got in. I don't think they're going to get in if they didn't win the Pac-12 tournament. So they got in. They did get a little break with playing UC Irvine. No disrespect to UC Irvine. But I'm sure Oregon was happy to play them. They could have played Kansas State. So Oregon gets break there, but they ran with it. They're playing good basketball, but Virginia's a very tough defensive team. They had a scare around Gardner-Webb. They were trailing another 16 seed at half, but then this defense woke up, and they showed it again against Oklahoma in the round of 32. So I like that to continue, but I do like Tennessee to escape from this region. But Tennessee-Virginia, that would also be an incredible game right there. So lots of talented teams in that region, lots of talented teams left to play.
Yeah, those are your Sweet 16 games that are Thursday and Friday. Those are going to set up for your Elite Eight games, which can be right after that. For me, I'm going to have Gonzaga and Michigan facing off, which I have Gonzaga winning. Then I got Michigan State and Duke, which would be an incredible game. I have Duke winning that. Then we go to North Carolina and Kentucky. I got North Carolina winning that matchup. And then Tennessee and Virginia. Incredible game. I have Virginia winning it. But looking back, maybe I should have took Tennessee. I like Tennessee a lot.
They're fun to watch.
I really want to see them go for it because Tennessee is a very diehard sports school. They haven't been that good in football recently, but it's cool seeing them very good at basketball. I love their striped pants they wear for warm-ups.
Old school warm-ups.
Orange and white. I love that.
Hoosier style.
But that is my Elite Eight, which I could still get correct if these teams win. Then my my Final Four is Gonzaga and Duke. Then UNC and Virginia. I do have Duke and North Carolina facing off in the championship because I picked Duke winning it all with Zion Williamson being the best player in the game right now.
It's going to be fun to watch. I kind of gave a little bit of my predictions, but I do have Michigan State. I originally had Duke. I had them in the Final Four, but I do think Michigan State could beat them. I like them to get to the Final Four and play Texas Tech. I think Texas Tech has a great shot to win this tournament. They're my biggest sleeper team.
Well.
Tennessee, of course, they're my team winning it, so I have them escaping in North Carolina, getting through to my Final Four. And we'll talk more about these on Thursday as well, considering the games will pick back up Thursday, Friday, and then the Elite Eight will be Saturday, Sunday. So big-time March Madness is happening, and it's more to come.
Absolutely. It's been fantastic. The first two games were great. I believe Sweet 16 and Elite 8 are going to be even better. We're going to see some crazy finishes, saw great overtime games, and I believe we could see some of the same coming up this Thursday and Friday and heading into the weekend. So can't wait to see what happens here. And then we're going to give our updated rankings of our tournament challenge next week after these games happen. Hopefully I'm still in first place. But if Tennessee makes a run, Seth, you could be up there as well. But it will be very interesting to see these games go down, and I can't wait to see what happens.
Going to be fun, that's for sure. Another thing, too, to note, we've talked about a little bit on our show before we left, but we were going to have our bracket, our own personal March Madness bracket. Last year we did the greatest athlete of all time. This year, the sports movies did win our poll on Twitter, so we are going to do the greatest sports movies, and I will tell you, we've officially finished the bracket. We are going to have more on that coming out on Thursday's show. And that will pick up Thursday with the Sweet 16 game. So definitely check that out on our Twitter. That's going to be fun. The bracket will be released shortly.
Absolutely. That'll be on Thursday. I believe we'll start it off on Thursday, and then it should finish right around when March Madness is getting over with. So can't wait for that. Can't wait to release our bracket, and you guys can have a taste of what is going to happen heading into Thursday.
Going to be fun. Stay tuned, though. We got one more segment for you coming up. Lots of stuff going on in the MLB and the NFL world and the fighting world as well. So that's what we're going to cover to wrap up today's show. Stay tuned.